All right, welcome back, everybody. As we know, we got a big one coming up this Saturday. Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, Junior welterweight unification bout. And once again, another 50-50 fight. Um, Regis Prograis is a minus 155. Josh Taylor is a plus 135. So the odds are razor close here. Both guys have decent resumes. They've been in there with some good guys. I mean, Taylor's been in there with Ivan Baranchek, Victor Postal. He's been in there with Miguel Vasquez, and Prograis has been in there with Carol Relic and Terry Flanagan and Julius Ndongo. And both guys looked great against that top opposition. Um, both guys are very highly skilled, and you can argue that they're the two best fighters in the division, or you could even say Jose Ramirez is right in there with them. But I think arguably the winner of this fight will be deemed the best fighter at junior welterweight. So let's talk about both guys and let's assess you know the strengths and weaknesses of both guys, and let's break down the styles of both guys, and let's talk about how these guys match up against each other. Um, Josh Taylor is the bigger, taller guy, longer reach. He's 5'10". He's got the 69.5-inch reach. Prograis is 5'8". He's got the 67-inch reach. But the thing about Taylor is you have to ask yourself, does he use that height and reach all the time properly the way he probably should for a guy his size? I would say probably not, because he likes to walk guys down. He likes to fight inside. He likes to go to the body. Does have a good jab, but he's not the type of guy that's going to stay out on the outside and try to pick you apart from the outside. He likes to get in there and mix it up. Okay? So he's more of a physical. He reminds me a lot of a slash Ricky Hatton, Antonio Margarito type fighter. Now you can argue that he's probably a little sharper, can throw the punches a little straighter, maybe a little more fluid with the combinations. And you could also argue that he probably is better at placing those shots and probably telegraphs and loads up a little bit less than those guys did, because there was a torque to those guys' punches. They would always have like a little hitch before they threw their punches, where Josh Taylor is a little bit more fluid, a little more snappy, and a little more precise with the shots. But he still does like to mix it up. We've really never seen him pushed on the back foot. He's always moving forward in fights, so we don't know how well he can fight off the back foot. What we do know is he's pretty solid defensively, keeps his hands up pretty high. Um, hasn't been hit with a lot of shots. Haven't really seen him hurt that much or buzzed in fights. But again, his offense has been his defense for the most part. I mean, he's just been steamrolling over guys. He's walking guys down, getting in their chest, and he's throwing that jabbing his way in, maybe throwing a right hand and then dropping down on the body and landing that big left hook and coming back upstairs with the left hook to the head. So you got to really watch out for the hook, or I should say right hook. He's a southpaw. I apologize, but yeah, the right hook. So he's really powerful from that lead hand with that. He's got a heavy, stiff jab, and he's got a really good, strong right hook to the body. So you have to ask yourself, the game plan shouldn't be pretty hard to figure out here. I think Taylor's going to do what he always does. He's going to try to come forward, impose his will on Prograis, go to the body, try to take the legs away, and try to wear him down and possibly get a late stoppage, or just outwork him throughout the course of the 12 rounds and get a decision that way by outworking and outmuscling Prograis. And if you listen to Taylor talk in a lot of these pre-fight build-up interviews, and the gloves are off, when you listen to him talk, he keeps telling Prograis, I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna take you to the places you've never been before. I'm gonna rip your head off. So he's basically talking that macho talk. He's talking that I'm gonna knock you out type talk. Whereas Prograis is pretty much saying, I could do it all. You know, I don't have to knock you out to win. I have more skill than you. I could out finesse you. I got better defense than you. I'm faster than you. Everything I do, I think I do better than you. He thinks that he's faster. He thinks that he's got a better defense. He thinks that he moves better. You can even argue that he may be just as heavy of a puncher. I mean, he's got more knockouts than Taylor's got fights. He's got 20 knockouts in 24 fights, and Taylor's got 12 knockouts in 15 fights. And both guys have fought decent opposition. So the thing about Prograis is, I'm going to say something that I said last week about Vosdick. I thought Vosdick was the more versatile guy against Better Beeb, but Better Beeb's overall physical strength, pressure, and power proves to be too much for Vosdick as the fight wore on. And I thought Vosdick, I had him up on my card by a point. I thought he was out boxing Better Beeb early on. And I think Prograis has the ability, because this is a guy who's very awkward. This is a guy that uses his legs very well. He's got great balance. He can go in and out on you. He could stay in the mid-range and grind it out with you if he has to. He can even go inside and rip to the body. I mean, this is a guy that can do it all. He can do it with finesse. He could do it with volume and a lot of punching. And he could also grind it out when he has to. So this is a guy that can get dirty, down and dirty when he has to. And this is a guy that can grind it out when he has to. And this is a guy that can out finesse you. So when you look at both guys' bag of tricks, you have to say that Prograis has more in his bag than Taylor has in his. He's got more tools in his toolbox than Taylor has in his. Because Prograis made a very accurate and intelligent statement, I think, during the gloves are off. He said, you've seen me win different ways. You've seen me out finesse guys, out box guys. You've seen me fight off the back foot. You've seen me take it to guys like he did with Ndango. He blew him out in 2 rounds. So we've seen Prograis win in a lot of different ways. We've only seen Taylor win one way. So, that one, and arguably that one way hasn't failed him yet, and it may not fail him next week. We don't know that. But when you look at guys that are pretty close to the same skill level, I'm not going to say same skill level. When you look at guys who are pretty much even in terms of how they match up against each other, meaning that both guys will be in for a tough fight next week. No one's going to walk over anyone, in my opinion. I think that this fight will be interesting, and I think both fighters will have their moments. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the guy who I think is more versatile. This is a guy, Prograis, who, like I said, he's a slick southpaw, okay? He can counterpunch very well. He can move, step around you, pivot around you, but he could also stand right in front of you like Pernell Whitaker used to do and make you miss by inches just by twisting his hips and a little head and body movement, head and upper body movement that he employs. He's a real slick southpaw, but he's a slick southpaw that can pop. He has the element of surprise to his punches. He's a little bit more fast twitchy than Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor is just a heavy-handed clubber type guy. He has that thudding type power, I should say, where Prograis has that fast twitch, explosive, sneaky type power, the hit you with the punches you don't see type power that can catch you off guard. So when you look at this fight, you have to see how these guys match up against each other. And you could argue that maybe Taylor is physically stronger than Prograis, but I don't think he's faster. I don't think he's quicker. I don't think he's as slick defensively as Prograis is. I don't think his hands are as fast. I don't think his feet are as fast. And I've never seen him backing up, so I don't know if he can. I've seen Taylor suck guys into traps. I've seen him Prograis fight off the back foot. I've seen him, set traps for guys, but I've never seen Taylor fight that way. So I'm not sure if he can do it. where I know Prograis can, but I'm not sure if Taylor can. So, if you got a guy in Prograis who could be dangerous while moving forward, you got a guy in Prograis who can back up and be dangerous because he's such a slick, quick counter puncher, and you got a guy that can also go to the body. Both guys can go to the body well. So, don't be surprised if Prograis catches Taylor to the body a few times and takes some of the legs away from him and stops him from wanting to move forward too. So both guys, I think, can hurt each other. But the problem, I think, here for Taylor is I just think Prograis is going to be getting off first because I think he's the quicker guy. Okay? And because Prograis has such quick feet, I don't think he's going to stand still for Taylor. And I think Taylor's going to be doing a lot of chasing in this fight. I think Taylor's going to be doing a lot of chasing in this fight. I think he's going to have a hard time pinning Prograis down. And I think Prograis is going to fight a pretty slick, disciplined fight. I think Prograis is going to be able to slow the fight down when he needs to. He's going to be able to fight on the inside when he has to. But for the most part, I just see him being able to make Taylor miss a lot. Whereas I think Prograis is going to be more successful at landing his shots because this is a guy that's coming at you at all different angles. Okay, this is a guy that's going to take that jab and throw it off speed. He's going to, touch you all over the place. He's just going to try and touch you just to make contact to open up shots. Taylor is trying to make every punch count. He's trying to make every punch hurt because his goal in this fight, from the way he's talking, and I believe him, is he wants to impose his will on Regis Prograis. He wants to hurt Prograis. He wants to win this fight in style. He wants to win this fight by knockout. Prograis doesn't care how he wins this fight. If he can, fight a safety fight, or if he could fight a comprehensive, cerebral type fight, a technical fight, and maybe not impress the fans, and maybe not make the fight as exciting as the fans want it to be, but if he can win every round and get a decision, he doesn't care. Taylor has a different mentality. He's going to be fighting, in the UK. He's going to be fighting in front of a lot of his fans, and because this fight's going to be in London. It's going to be in the UK, and Taylor is he's a European fighter, so he's a UK fighter, so he's going to want to impress the fans. Prograis doesn't have to impress anybody. He just wants to win. That's his mentality. And again, if he has to turn this fight into a stinker to win, then he'll do that. Whereas Taylor, I think Taylor is going to be basically the bull, and I think Prograis is going to be the matador in this matchup. But the matador can sting the bull here. The matador has that saber to sting the bull here, not just the cape to make him miss and olay him, but he can stab him with the sword, the saber, and he can hurt Taylor too. So if Taylor gets a little too anxious, gets a little too frustrated in this fight, if he's missing a lot, and he tries to get a little bit too overly aggressive, then he could walk into something too. Because that left hand of Prograis is no cupcake, and neither is that right hook. But again, the flip side of my argument here, and the flip side of my prediction here is, could we see what happened last week, where Beeb was able to impose his will and out strength and out muscle and just walk through Gvozdyc's punches and wear him down late? I'm gonna say no, because I just think that Prograis is a little bit, is not even a little bit. I think he's a lot more slicker than Gvozdyc, number one. And number two, I think in the power department, these guys are pretty even, to be honest. As crazy as that may sound to some of you, I think they're pretty even. So I think Prograis' punches are going to have an effect on Taylor if they land clean, whereas Gvozdyc's punches didn't have that effect on Beterbiev that he hoped for. So you can compare this fight to that fight, and say that maybe the stronger guy can impose his will on the smaller guy who's maybe not as strong. But I just don't see it that way because I think Prograis has that power that can get Taylor's respect and slow him down. So I think Prograis is going to outbox and outwork and outland and land way more cleanly than Josh Taylor in this fight. And I think he's going to get a decision. I see this fight. This fight could be close. It could be a 7-5, but I'm guessing that Prograis will probably win this fight 8-4, 8-4ish, maybe 7-5ish. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for either man, but I just think Prograis' movement, I think his hand speed, his foot speed, his upper body movement, his awkwardness, and just his overall slickness and just his ability to fight moving backward as well as moving forward, the versatility that he has over Josh Taylor, I think will favor him in this fight and serve him well in this fight. So I'm going to go with Regis Prograis here by 12-round unanimous decision. I'm going to go with the guy who I feel is the more skilled of the two and who has more tools in the toolbox. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be doing a live cast for this fight. I think this is a great fight to do a live cast for. This is going to be an awesome matchup. This is arguably one of the best matchups of the year. Once again, I think boxing has been phenomenal this year. We've had so many 50-50 fights, and we complain, and I know I complain about mismatches so much in the sport of boxing. But this year, we've gotten some pretty good matchups. We got some decent matchups. We got a lot of 50-50 matchups. We got some good upsets as well. So we can't complain, man. I think the fight's going to go the distance. I don't see a knockout here. I think both guys are pretty durable. I think Josh Taylor is decent defensively, but I don't think he's as good as Prograis. But I think he's a durable guy, and I think Prograis isn't going to take any unnecessary chances here, and I don't think he cares if he gets the knockout or not. So I think he's going to do whatever he can to win rounds, whereas Josh Taylor is going to try to go for the KO, but I don't think he's going to be able to pin Regis Prograis down. So that's how I see it. Let me know what you guys think. But beating the odds of Beeb, we're going to take the -155, which isn't too bad. And we're going to go with Regis Prograis by unanimous decision. And I haven't checked the decision prop in this fight, but I'm sure it's pretty damn close to even money. So if you wanted to get brave, I wouldn't even be afraid to take Prograis by decision here. Take the decision prop of Prograis to kind of cut your odds back a little bit and not have to put up as much money. If you didn't want to put up that 155 to make 100, you could probably take Prograis with the decision prop, and I think that would be a good bet as well. So that's all I got for you guys. Make sure you check us out, Ringside Reporter Podcast, every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you check us out. You can call in, and super chats are always welcome. And yeah, that's all I got for you. And we'll be doing a live cast on Saturday for this fight, so I hope you all join me then. Until next time, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. And as always, have a great day. Peace out.